Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Man, I hope everybody is having a blessed Shabbat and able to enter into the solemn day of rest that the Most High Yah has commanded us to keep. The title of today's message is Avoiding Bad Wisdom. You know, man, there are so many different, there are a lot of different people that will be in and out of your life. And if you are not discerning, careful and wise, studied in the word of the Most High Yah and keeping his commandments, you will not be able to recognize the people that will put a stumbling block before you. Today I'm just going to hone in on some of this because you may not even realize that some of your close family, i.e. your mother and father, might be giving you bad advice just as well as the people that are out in the world that you may call your friends. So today we're going to dive into this to showcase biblically, the type of wisdom that we are supposed to be following, and then what the Bible actually talks about pertaining to people that have bad wisdom. Why are we here today? We are here today on this Shabbat in obedience to the Most High Yah. Exodus chapter 20 verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy Yah. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day, wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. People oftentimes read this not realizing that the Bible was written on behalf of an agricultural people. So when you are, striving to keep the commandments of the Most High Yah, it's very important that we are striving to live that type of lifestyle so we can have understanding of the things that are hidden in some of these biblical parables. But before we go any further, I want to talk to you about commitment issues, because maybe you don't even realize that you have commitment issues. Commitment issues are more prevalent than you realize. Why am I talking about this? Well, for one, 60% of the viewers that watch my content are not subscribed to the channel, let alone, you possibly have watched millions of hours of YouTube content for free that doesn't cost you anything, just like this, and you still haven't hit that like button. So in order to prove that you do not have commitment issues, smash that like button, because what I'm going to give you today can help save your soul. It's good biblical wisdom that's going to help direct and guide you in your path of salvation. Okay, smash that like button, subscribe. If you do subscribe, turn your notifications on. That way you can see when I'm dropping new content. And lastly, drop me a comment, down below, letting me know where you're watching from, city and state. I appreciate you for your views. I appreciate for your comments and all the likes. Okay, so diving into this, there were those in the Bible that were coined hypocrites. The Messiah called them hypocrites. And it's very important that we follow those that are walking in spirit and in truth, those that are, actually applying the word in their life, and you see it in their works. And that's where the word says, I'll show you my faith by my works. You've got plenty of people out there that have faith and believe, but they cannot show it in their works because they are not applying it. It's pretty much they're just giving a form of lip service. And the Bible tells us to avoid people that have a form of godliness. And this is the reason why. Okay, so Matthew chapter 5, verse 20. For I say unto you that unless your righteousness, which is your uprightness, moral excellence, is more than that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You know, the word tells us that the righteous are scarcely saved. So it's not saying that the Pharisees were not righteousness. Their righteousness was very little. And you want to avoid people that want to give you all this advice while their righteousness is very little. And that's why the righteous are scarcely saved. You know, the Pharisees were, modern day, these would be the people that have the degrees, they want to be called doctor and all of this stuff when they're teaching their, i.e. religion. But when you start to look at their walk, man, they're not going to guide you right. You'll fall into the same ditch, just as the Messiah says they're blind leaders of the blind. Okay, Matthew chapter 23, verse 1 through 7. Then Yahshua spoke to the crowds and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and Pharisees have seated themselves in Moses' chair. Okay, basically esteeming themselves as authoritative teachers of the law. So practice and observe everything they tell you, but do not do as they do, for they preach things, but do not practice them. That's as plain and simple as I can say. The scribes and Pharisees tie up heavy loads that are hard to bear and place them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not lift a finger to make them lighter. They do all their deeds to be seen by men, for they make their flacetaries, wide to make them more conspicuous and make their tassels long. They love the place of distinction and their honor at the feast and the best seats in the synagogue. Okay, those on the platform near the scrolls of the law facing the congregation, and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and public forums, and to have people call them rabbi, okay, master. You got people out there that are telling you, when you look deep into the etymology of the word rabbi, man, that is master. You have to look deep into it, because the first level that you're going to find is going to say teacher, but it's ultimately master. That's why it's telling you biblically, call no man rabbi. Matthew chapter 23, verse 15. Woe to you, scribe and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you travel over sea and land to make a single proselyte a convert, okay? And when he becomes a convert, you make him twice as much a son of hell as you are. Why is that? Well, when you think about this, you have people today, modern day, that call themselves doing missionary work. But what they're doing is making someone a convert and teaching them the ways of lawlessness in the process, i.e. vain religion. And people don't see this. People will take the wisdom of these people that are just like the scribe and Pharisees and follow them, and it will be a stumbling block unto your life. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Man, I'm going to tell you that once I feared the Most High Yah and started keeping his commandments apart from the teachings of, organized world religion, you'll realize that the advice you get from people that fear the Most High Yah and keep his commandments, man, it will allow you to prosper in righteousness, while the advice of those who give lip service worship will cause you to fail. It's going to be a dead end. And, you have many people out there that have esteemed themselves as scholars, as theologians, but they don't fear the Most High Yah, because you can look at their actions and see forth. These are people that you need to avoid the wisdom of. People that clearly do not have a fear of the Most High Yah. Their wisdom is going to take you somewhere other than the kingdom. James chapter 3, verse 15 through 17. The wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. Okay? 3 types of wisdom right there you should avoid. For where there is envying and strife there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality, without hypocrisy. So you got to think about that. Without hypocrisy. You cannot take the wisdom of these Pharisees, because they were hypocrites. So earthly wisdom. That's why I say if you are not discerned, do you not have the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, and which comes discernment, you're not going to be able to decipher between the type of wisdom that people are giving you. Because if you yourself are not living right, people that are living lawless will very well put a stumbling block before you, and it will sound good to your flesh. It'll make you feel emotionally good. It will appeal to your feelings. Earthly wisdom is motivated by self-ambition and envying and does not reflect the righteousness of Yah. So you have to be cautious of earthly wisdom. Somebody has a selfish ambition, the reason why they're giving you the type of wisdom that they're giving you. When you look at the church on every corner, man, you will have people that aren't concerned about your soul salvation, but if you have a special talent, i.e. if you are a musician or if you are an accountant, man, these people will give you all kind of wisdom and say that it came from the Most High Yah, but it's full of selfish ambition because they stand to gain. These are people that will envy you and will try to give you wisdom at the same time. Sensual wisdom is not rooted in the fear of the Most High Yah. This is the people out here that are very esteemed, have a very large vocal, voice to the masses. And when you ask them clear-cut questions that can be answered biblically, they're going to answer from a place of sensual wisdom. They're going to give you some guidance that is sure to be very sexually immoral, according to the Most High Yah. If you ask people that claim to be all these different religions and whatnot, hey, what is your take on sex before marriage? Do you think that's a sin? If you think about this girlfriend and boyfriend culture that's backed by lawlessness, man, that has been a stumbling block for many people. Racking up their body counts for men and women, virtue being removed because this kind of stuff is being promoted. It's sensual wisdom. Demonic wisdom is motivated by the same things that motivate Satan. You have to be cautious, man. You might be sitting up there asking wisdom from a whoremonger, from a witch, from somebody that has clearly rebelled against the Most High Yah and is truly serving as an agent of Hasatan. If Hasatan comes to seek, kill, and destroy, how much more is that wisdom that these people that are agents of his gonna cause you to fall? These three types of wisdom appeal to the flesh, emotions, feeling, and senses. They also produce evil, cause confusion, and evil things. If your mother and father are not commandment keepers, fearing the Most High Yah, man, they'll put some stumbling blocks before you and cause you to fail. They'll have you rushing to go out into this world only to find, the things that we're not supposed to be conformed to. And you will ignorantly be calling it your best life. Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. So then, my dear ones, just as you have always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my presence, continue to work out your salvation. Meaning, that is to cultivate, bring into full effect, actively pursue spiritual maturity with awe-inspired fear and trembling, using serious caution and critical self-evaluation to avoid anything that might offend Yah or discredit the name of Hamashiach. Point blank, period. Ecclesiastes 3:19, many are in high places and of renown. So think about this. These are people that will be seated in high places, just like the Pharisees seated in the seat of Moses. What makes them different than Moses was, the Torah was not given unto the Pharisees. Moses was counted as righteous due to his obedience to the word of the Most High Yah. But mysteries are revealed unto the meek. So you have, man, there's people out there of all these different religions, and they'll take you down all kind of rabbit holes that sound good, and secretly they will be earthly, sensual, and demonic. Have you thinking about stuff that has nothing to do with working out your salvation. Okay, let's give you an example. Trinity doctrine or rapture doctrine. If you go back and look at the men that started these doctrines, these are people that still got people sucked into this stuff today, as if it is some type of wisdom that's gonna help your salvation. People talking about, well, when we think about the triune of God, he's three distinctive that stuff is some doggone, that is some earthly sensual demonic wisdom. Book don't mention nothing about that. These people will, to those that are unstudied, will have the Most High Yah sounding like he's schizophrenic, bipolar, manic, depressive. And this stuff don't have nothing to do with your doggone salvation. It says, but the mysteries are revealed unto the meek. Meek being humble, self-controlled, and those fearing and trusting in Yah. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of Yah. Man, I told you, once I started fearing the Most High Yah, keeping his commandments, the people that I take advice from drastically was reduced. Prior to that, you may look at somebody that has worldly success and say, man, I gotta get all their wisdom because they've got it figured out. And that's the complete opposite. Especially if they're not fearing the Most High Yah and keeping his commandments, they don't have it figured out. But that right there is a sort of limerence that people start to say, oh man, oh wow, man, they've got all this material stuff, man. They must know what they're doing. And nowadays, man, I've got a very, select group of brothers that fear the Most High Yah, keep his commandments, obey the Torah, that, I can call, and their wisdom will be rooted in the word. Brothers that if I haven't seen something biblically, man, they'll point me in a place and say, hey, this should be the basis of how you should be walking. And I'll be like, man, that was good. Versus these people that want to give you their feelings, their emotions, want to give you this central wisdom, this devilish wisdom that's worthless. You got to think about it. If your mom or father is an adulterer or a fornicator, live sexually immoral, man, you cannot take relationship advice from them because, like the book said, man, the Pharisees do all this work to make one convert and just much twice as much a child of hell as them. And i.e. your parents can be the same way. You can't take advice from your mother or father that has failed in relationship and think that they're going to be able to help you. You can't take marriage advice from these people. There's single brothers out there that fear the Most High Yah and keep his commandments. Even though they're not married, they know where in the word to be able to point people. And that's the difference. You got to think, man, a wickedly lustful person that follows their flesh is not going to give righteous wisdom. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good, acceptable, and perfect will of Yah. So you have these people that have conformed 100% to the way of the world. Whatever the world is selling, that's what they've conformed to. These are the people that you do not want the wisdom from. Man, I don't care if they can tell you the quickest way to get to $1 million. That $1 million is not going to do anything for you when you don't have salvation in the end. Sirach chapter 3, verse 22 through 24. Concentrate on the law which has been given to you. Concentrate on you. And people that live lawless, that's the complete opposite of what they want you to do when they give you their wisdom. You do not need to know about things which the Lord has not revealed, so do not concern yourself with them. Most High Yah wants you focused on your walk, obeying his word, not all this stuff, well, what if and hypothetical this. A lot of times, a lot of these what ifs and hypotheticals are truly backed by unbelief. People that have a form of godliness, but they don't believe. And unless they can conjure it up in their mind and it makes sense to them, then they're not going to believe in it. And this is why they push so much doubt. So much of this, well, if we look over here, they be looking in places that are in support of witchcraft and wanting you to follow their wisdom. After all, what has been shown to you is beyond human power to understand. Why? Because it's that of the Ruach HaKodesh. Many people have been misled by their own opinions. Their wrong ideas have warped their judgment. So these people, rather than, when somebody asks me something, and you'll realize this, when you fear the Most High Yah and keep his commandments, and people ask you, well, what should I do? Man, they would love it if you give them your feelings, emotions, and opinions. They would love it if you gave them some sensual, earthly, devilish or demonic wisdom. But people will hate you for giving them the word when you give them wisdom. Hey man, what you think, man? Do you think I should do this, or do you think I should do this? People be wanting you to align, your stance with their feelings. And I'm on the other side, man. I'm not about to do that, because I know the Most High Yah is judging what I say. And if I claim to fear the Most High Yah and keep his commandments, man, my wisdom and what I tell somebody has to be in alignment with the word. People get upset with you. Man, you always, every time I ask you something, man, you got to bring the Bible into it. And that goes to show you that a lot of these folks don't believe. And this is why they find themselves in the situations that they find themselves in. This is why they find themselves having no anointing, contrary how many days you go to Sunday sun worship. So Sirach chapter 3, verse 27 through 29. A stubborn person will be burdened down with troubles. Okay? So if somebody is stubborn, and being stubborn is not the will of Yah, not the way of Yah, be cautious of taking advice from them. Sinners go on adding one sin to another. There is no cure for the troubles that arrogant people have. Wickedness has taken deep root in them. Wickedness. Opposite of wickedness, righteousness. So these people that are deep rooted, like, I'm gonna give you an example. If people are keeping Christmas, Easter, Halloween, all of these idolatrous holidays, I don't give a dang how much success you got in the world. I'm not asking you for no wisdom, because I know the wisdom that you come from, the wisdom that you give, is going to be rooted in wickedness based upon the life you live. Intelligent people will learn from proverbs and parables. They will listen well because they want to learn. So when you think about parable of the seed sower, and some people can be easily led astray by people that don't understand the parables, by people that don't understand that the parable of the seed sower was based upon an agricultural people. It's only a parable to those that don't want to live an agricultural life. This is why they can tell you to sow dollars as seeds, and you plant that in the ground and it won't grow. This is how they can deceive you in their wisdom. Sirach chapter 5, verse 12. Answer only if you know what to say. And if you do not know what to say, keep quiet. See, the difference is, sometimes somebody can ask you something, and if you don't know what to say in that moment, i.e. the word, and be able to direct them in righteousness, man, you should keep quiet. Hey, let me get back with you. Let me research and look into that. Rather than just letting your flesh start to speak. A lot of this wisdom that people give that will be a stumbling block for you is because they don't have the wisdom of the word stored up in them. They refuse to remain quiet and tame their tongue. Therefore, their flesh just starts to speak. And this stuff sounds very good. You have to be mindful of the wisdom that you give people that are not in the body of Hamashiach. You yourself can become a transgressor by your words and the advice that you give them. You got to think, people that are transgressors of the law and not in the body of Hamashiach, man, they're looking for something that appeals to what their sinful desire wants to do. So I'm cautious of people that give me advice but don't root it in the word. Very cautious of that. I don't care if I don't care if you've been a deacon at a church for 30 years. I don't give a dang if you're a pastor in religion. If your stuff is not rooted in the word, I mean, it sounds good to the ears, it's tickling the ears, but it's not going to help the case of my soul's salvation. Ecclesiastes 6:23, give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. Every piece of advice and wisdom you need in life is in the word. No matter what the situation, it's in the word. Man, people can say, man, I'm looking at buying this 2021 Hellcat. Oftentimes when at work, soldiers don't even realize I'm giving them, wisdom from the word, and they don't even understand it. I say, man, you got a bonus. Are you about to put that down? The whole bonus down? That way you don't have a car payment? No, man, I'm gonna finance it. What's your credit look like? Letting them know the wisdom of the word. Hey, man, you are about to be a servant, a slave to the lender because you're the borrower. And look at the rates right now. But when you think about that, sometimes you can be so arrogant and prideful that you don't receive good wisdom. It's not the fact that people were giving you bad wisdom. It's the fact of you being prideful, being puffed up with pride, being puffed up with that leaven. So you couldn't hear. This is why it says, give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. People are going to do what they want to do. But, as commandment keepers, man, we have the responsibility of giving these people good wisdom rooted in righteousness. Because you never know, the difference between somebody being a messenger of the Most High Yah versus being an agent of Hasatan. An agent of Hasatan will give you some advice that's not rooted in righteousness. And you yourself will think it sounds good, but a messenger, man, his word is going to line up with the will of Yah. So you're getting that hard check, not even realizing that you're hearing from the voice of the Most High Yah. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 33 through 36. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of elders and cleave unto him that is wise. Man, you wonder why so many of these young dudes and young women are getting caught up in our culture. Man, you have to think about it. When you look at these different generations, Gen Z and all of these millennials, the generation now, the young generation, they despise the wisdom of elders. And who do they call themselves YNs. If you don't know what YNs mean, that means young nigga. So people will say these young YNs, these YNs, and they will surround themselves with a whole bunch of YNs. And ain't nobody living set apart. Ain't nobody living righteous. Everybody got on Jesus pieces and crosses and little stuff dangling from their ear. It looks spiritual, but there's no obedience in it. And this is why young men and women fall, because they're not hearkening unto elders. Here's another one. Just because somebody is aged and old does not mean they've got good wisdom. Just because somebody is old and sits back and oftentimes old people that have lived lawless and have not, worked out their salvation, you have to be extremely careful of old men and old women that do not live righteous, because you will be sitting up under them and say, well, they made it to 90 years old. They must got some kind of wisdom. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because they will, just as you are sitting on a footstool beneath them, man, they will give you some wisdom that caused them to fail. You have to think about this. Hamashiach died at an early age, but had all wisdom. So old age does not always equate to wisdom. You have to think about the church ordaining some of these elders, ordaining some of these deacons. And some of these deacons are living lawless. Be mindful of this. and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear out the steps of his door. So if you see a man of great understanding, great wisdom, okay, righteousness, man, you need to wear out somebody that has, the wisdom of the Most High Yah. They're not going to get tired of you coming to get that wisdom, because the fruit that they bear is for people to take. It's for those that see the light in you, the anointing to take the fruit. The problem with a lot of these religious theologians and scholars today is they want the fruit that the people produce, i.e. the money, but yet they want you to look to them as wisdom. Man, I have no problem with a young man coming to me that's trying to get his life in order, constantly coming, hey, what should I do in this scenario? Because that's letting you know, okay, man, they don't want to stumble, and they see something in you that they can trust. Oftentimes what people see in other people, they trust, but it's not trusted in righteousness. It's trusted in material possessions, money, wealth, status. You gotta think, people trusted R. Kelly's wisdom, but he was living lawless. You gotta think, people, when you look at Making the Band, that was Diddy's old group, P. Diddy's old group. Man, they trusted in him because of his success, not his righteousness. And they were wanting wisdom to help their career. He wasn't going to teach them anything that was going to help their soul salvation. Ecclesiastes 9:15. Let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communications in the law of the Most High. Man, there are certain conversations that as commandment keepers we should avoid. Especially if it's by people that have rejected the Torah of the Most High Yah. Don't fear the Most High Yah. I could care less about some of the things that men focus their times on in conversation. Why? Because it has nothing to do with my salvation. We're not. Now, one thing you'll realize with men that fear the Most High Yah, they can, I give you an example. A man that fears the Most High Yah and keeps the commandments, it doesn't matter what the activity is he's doing, and being in line with righteousness. Even if somebody were to go fishing with me and say, hey man, I want to go fishing with you. At some point during that fishing excursion, they're going to ask me, well, why do you do this and why do you do that? And it is just innate for the word being stored up in me to be able to give them a biblical perspective. And they say, man, I ain't never heard that. So you'll realize, man, if you go, say for instance, if you are driving with somebody and y'all are going somewhere and they are a commandment keeper, the way that they conduct their life and they go about making decisions is going to seem strange to those that are not living a life of righteousness. And the unrighteous will ask, and they'll say, man, why did you do that? And you say, well, because it's better to have patience. And then you'll go into the word and they won't even realize. You don't have to give these people the book, chapter, and verse to give them the wisdom of the word. Make sure our communications are in the Torah of the Most High Yah. Ecclesiastes 10:19. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed, and they that love him an honorable plant. They that regard not the law are a deceivable seed. They that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. So when you look at a lot of these people in religion that people esteem and say, oh yeah, this is very, very prominent. Well, are they making excuses to why you don't have to keep the commandment? Or are these commandment keepers? Are these people that regard not the law? Or these people that fear the Most High Yah and his Torah? This is how you avoid bad wisdom. 1 John chapter 2, verse 4. He that saith I know him and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Man, that right there made it very plain and simple to realize, who can I go to for wisdom? Who can I go to? What good is the wisdom of somebody that does not says they know the Most High, don't keep his commandments? What good is the wisdom they're going to give you? How they going to help you help strengthen your walk when they themselves have no direct line of sight to the kingdom, have no inheritance in the kingdom. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 8. A friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. So when you're up, you have to be mindful of taking wisdom from the people that are around you, because they may not give you accurate wisdom. They may not give you the correction that you may need, i.e. from the word. They may tell you what you want to hear because of their selfish ambition, because they know they have something to gain because you are in prosperity. It says an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. Your enemy is going to be exposed in adversity. These are going to be the people that are going to be the first to leave when you are not prospering. Ecclesiastes chapter 19, verse 18 through 24. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him. Fear of the Lord. This is what they don't tell you in these repeat after me and you'll be saved. Once saved, always saved. The fear of the Lord is the first step to being accepted of him. The wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. Come on, man. So keeping these commandments. You got more people out there that's leading people astray saying, well, we don't have to, you don't have to keep those Old Testament feast days. Those are not righteous no longer. But yet they out there telling you it's okay to keep, they got teachings telling you it's okay to keep Halloween, rooted in demonic spirits. It's okay to doggone keep Christmas, keeping the birthday of doggone Nimrod. It says that this is the commandments are the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom. So if you don't fear him, you have no righteous wisdom at all. So the problem is you got people in religion that say they fear him, but you can see it in their walk that they don't obey him. There is no fear of him because they continue to keep transgressing and not trying to work out their salvation. And in all wisdom is the performance of the law, performance of the Torah, and knowledge of his omnipotency. If a servant says to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, thou afterward he do it, he is angereth him that nourish him. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. So you got, let me be honest with you, you got all these videos on YouTube of people telling you how to be sexually immoral. Man, if you want this to happen, this is what you need to do. And people, this stuff gets millions of views. People don't realize, man, it's a stumbling block for your life. Neither at any time the counsel of sinners, prudence. The counsel of sinners. You go into the counsel of people that do not live a life or bear the fruit of repentance, and you're going to them for wisdom. There is a wickedness in the same an abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom. He that has small understanding and feareth Yah is better than the one that have much wisdom and transgress the law of the Most High Yah. Think about that. Think about that now pertaining to the Pharisees of the book. Think about these people that, they got all kind of scholarly education, all kind of diplomas and degrees. But guess what? It's better than one that have much wisdom and transgress the law of the Most High Yah. It's better. Ecclesiastes 21 verse 11 through 12. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof. The reason why a lot of these people don't have understanding of Torah, but want to tell you all day long to repent and to do this and to do that, they don't have the understanding because they don't obey the Torah in their life. And the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught, but there is a wisdom which multiplieth bitterness. So when you think about those three types of wisdom, earthly, sensual, devilish, man, that's a wisdom that multiplies bitterness. If somebody themselves has shown you that they don't have a teachable spirit themselves, where are they getting this wisdom from? And that's a key sign that they're giving you some earthly, sensual, devilish wisdom. Wisdom, chapter 1, verse 6 through 9. Wisdom is a spirit that is friendly to people, but she will not forgive anyone who speaks against Yah, for Yah knows our feelings and thoughts and hears our every word. You know, I did a YouTube short not too long ago talking about, man, you are always on a recorded line. Like sometimes people, when you're talking to your bank, when you're talking to insurance, they will let you know, hey, just to let you know, you're on a recorded line. You're on a recorded line any and all times. Since the Lord's Spirit fills the entire word and holds everything in it together, wisdom knows every word that people say. No one who speaks wickedly will escape notice. Sooner or later, he will receive just punishment. The intention of ungodly people will be closely examined. Their words will be reported to the master, and then they will get the punishment that their wickedness deserves. So when you think about the intentions of the heart and people giving you these stumbling blocks of wisdom that cause you to fail, man, that's going to be closely examined. And their words will be reported to the Lord or the master. So some of these people don't even realize the advice that they're giving you is bad. Wisdom 2. You know, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of bad wisdom. As a mother and father, you know, I'm not going to give my daughter wisdom of the world. You know, go out there and make a, you know, get some success for yourself, and you need to go do this and do this. I'm going to stick with simply in the book what the Most High Yah says. I will have that the younger women are to marry, first order of business, bear children, second order of business. 3, guide the house, give the adversary no approach. Man, that should be your doggone focus, to be covered. A lot of times people don't understand the advice that their parents gives cause them to go out into the world and be uncovered. Wisdom chapter 2. Wicked people are wrong when they say to themselves, our life is short and full of sorrow, and when an end comes, there is no escape. No one has ever been known to come back from the world of the dead, where we were born by chance, and after life is over, we will be as if we had never been born at all. These are people that are not born again. They don't believe. Our breath is no more than a puff of smoke. Our mind is nothing more than a spark thrown off by beating of our heart. When that spark dies, our body will crumble into ashes and our breath will become part of the empty air. In time, no one will remember anything we ever did. Even our names will be forgotten. Our lives will pass away like the traces of the cloud and vanish like fog in the heat of the sun. Our time on earth is like a passing shadow. There is no escape from the day of our death. It is fixed, and no one can postpone it. The wicked say, come on, then let us enjoy the good things of life and live in this world the way we did when we were young and free of care. Let's go, let us live our best life. Man, forget fearing the Most High Yah, his commandments. Let's drink the most expensive wine and use the finest perfumes. Let's not miss a single flower in the springtime before the roses wither. Let's pick them and wear them in our hair. Let us all join in and leave signs everywhere of our carefree revelry. Life owes us much. So you're talking about some entitled people. You know, they don't realize that this life, you know, as a man and woman in the roles defined for men and women, the Most High Yah has commanded us to be servants unto his righteousness. Verse 10, will oppress the poor even if they are righteous. So these people don't care about biblical standards. Will show no respect for widows or old people. Come on now, think about that in vain world religion today. You got to think, rather than actually doing what pure religion defined before the Most High Yah to cover the widows and the orphans or the fatherless in their affliction, the modern church isn't doing that. They'll find out a widow got a doggone life insurance settlement for her husband and they're trying to collect. We'll call ourselves right if we are strong enough to get what we want. No one ever got anywhere being weak. Righteous people are nothing but a nuisance. Righteous people are nothing but a nuisance. So let's look for a chance to get rid of them. They are against what we do, lawlessness, okay? They accuse us of breaking the law of Moses and violating the traditions of our ancestors. They claim to know God, and they call themselves the Lord's children. We can't stand the sight of people like that. What they are contradicts our whole way of thinking. Their whole way of thinking is lawless. And this is why you can't take advice from these type people, because they will give you bad advice. They are not like other people. They have strange ways. Didn't the book say that the people of the Most High Yah are peculiar people? They think that our moral standards are so corrupt that everything we do should be avoided, as it should. They boast of having God, Yah, for their father, and believe that when all is said and done, only the righteous will be happy. But we'll see if that's true. Let's see what will happen when it's time for them to die. If the righteous really are Yah's chosen, Yah will save them from their enemies. So let's put them to the test. So these are the people that are trying to wear out the saints. These are the people that are, attacking the righteous. We'll be cruel to them and torment them. Then we'll find out how calm and reasonable they are. We'll find out just how much they can stand. Come on. These are the people that are going to persecute you for righteousness' sake, let alone you sitting up here thinking because they're out living their best life and they appear happy. Man, let me ask them for some wisdom. It says, we'll condemn them to a shameful death. After all, they say that Yah will protect him. You have to think about somebody that has the mindset like this and persecuting the Messiah. This is how evil people think, but they are wrong. They are blinded by their own wickedness. They have never known Yah's secret, never hoped for the rewards of a holy and blameless life. When Yah created us, he did not intend for us to die. He made us like himself. It was the devil's jealousy that brought death into the world, and those who belong to the devil are the ones who will die. Come on. This is why these people love the rapture doctrine. Not one of them can prove that word has any etymology to any word that's in the Bible, but yet they believe in it, and people take that stuff hook, line, and sinker. This is the people that say, oh, no, that's that cult religion. That's how evil people think. Wisdom chapter 3, verse 10 through 13. The ungodly, however, will get the punishment their wicked thoughts deserve, because they have rebelled against the Lord and ignored what was right. A man who has no use for wisdom or education has a miserable life in store for him. He has nothing to hope for. His labors are useless. So I want you to think about when it says his labors are useless and he will never accomplish anything worthwhile. When you see in the passage, many will say in that day, Lord, Lord, look what we've done in your name. We've done many works. We've casted out devil. And then it says, part ways, for I never knew you, you workers of iniquity. These are people that claim to have faith, but they did not have the works to justify the faith that they had. You've got people out there teaching and in religion, oh, no. What they're saying, if it's works, it's a works-based salvation. Don't listen to anything these plum fools got to say, because the book says, I'll show you my faith by my works. Verse 12, the woman he marries will turn out to be irresponsible, and his children will go wrong. All his descendants will be under a curse. Man, you taking advice from a man, look at how he governs his house. Does he govern it according to the way of the world or according to righteousness? 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. Man, I tell you today, I don't hang around a whole bunch of men. Definitely don't hang around women. In saying that, the men that I do know and can pick up the phone, I can guarantee they're going to give some wisdom from that word to make sure that I'm on that straight and narrow path. And that right there is a blessing. Some people don't have a blessing like that to have people in their lives that they can call and get good wisdom from. Starting off from your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your pastors in your Sunday Sun worship. Man, they don't have any wisdom that's going to help save your soul. Why? Because you cannot discern that they are transgressors. They're nothing more than Pharisees. I want you to do this, but you can, this is what I'm doing. And these people will deceive you. It's the bad company. You have to think about it. If in the new covenant, the Most High Yah says the laws are written on your inward parts. You got people that are the company you keep around you. Man, they will corrupt that. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 through 14. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So I want people that's locked in on going into that straight and narrow gate. Their wisdom is going to hit completely different from those that's not focused on their salvation. You got to think, some people wake up in the morning and they thinking about the world and they thinking about money. These people are not going to lead you right when it comes to, hey, what should I do in this scenario? Versus the people wake up that's focused on pleasing Yah, being servants in his for righteousness' sake. Man, I'm telling you, there are all kind of stumbling blocks. And we see biblically that so many people were putting stumbling blocks before the children of Yashriel. King Antiochus, most people don't know that when you read they were first called Christians at Antioch. Man, it was King Antiochus that was putting a stumbling block before the children of Yashriel. People don't talk about how much of a stumbling block the doctrine of the Gentiles, these heathens, in their vain religion is a stumbling block for your salvation. Trinitarian doctrine. Go look up who coined that. That's a doggone heathen. Go look up rapture doctrine. That started from a heathen. Roman Emperor Constantine changing, and setting forth in law that you would keep Christmas as the birth of Jesus. Stumbling block. You can't ask these people that are in this vain religion for wisdom. If you don't see the evidence of people living righteous, fearing the Most High Yah, keeping his commandments, man, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to give you no good wisdom. They're not going to give you no good wisdom. Relationship advice. Man, you cannot take relationship or marriage advice or dating or courting advice from sexually immoral people that live lawless. They're going to tell you everything that sounds good to your flesh, but you have to remember biblically, man, your flesh is against the Ruach, is against the Most High. He says, man, if you love this world, man, you are an enemy of the Most High Yah. So we have to be able to discern, I'd rather wait and not make a move until I can get a hold of a brother that I know is a commandment keeper, rather than just to run out here to somebody that does not keep the commandments of the Most High Yah and then put a stumbling block before me. Man, I hope I've said something today to help edify you, to get you to understand how important and rare good wisdom is. Good wisdom is going to be had by those that are meek, those that are humble, those that are obedient to the word of Yah, not those that have created their own doctrine outside of the word to try to justify why they don't have to do what's in the word. I'm telling you, in these last days, man, there are so many different snares for your soul, so many different stumbling blocks, so many different truths, so many different spiritual awakenings and spiritual journeys that if you are not lining up with the word, man, will cause you not to inherit the kingdom. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your Shabbat. Don't forget to share this message. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Closer to Y'all Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.